Ah, I'm just finishing up at the local gym here, and what an incredible workout. It's pretty cool out this morning, but that cold air feels really good. I wanted to talk with you a little bit today about trauma. The reason this topic's been on my mind is I was working with a lady this week, and she had a similar story to many individuals that I work with. And I think it's a very common story, especially for individuals who have found themselves in relationships that have been emotionally abusive or physically abusive. She finds herself in a place today, many years later, after she's thankfully exited this relationship, of not being able to get past the trauma responses that she feels. She constantly goes into states of trauma reaction, which is very common for post-trauma and post-trauma stress. You might have heard of PTSD before. And certainly she has some of those symptoms, and as many do who have gotten out of difficult relationships like this. And she continues to have these episodes where she slides into these trauma responses. And when she slides into these trauma responses, she's filled with anxiety, filled with fear, filled with propensity to be suspicious, worry, overwhelmed sometimes by emotion, and in general feels very weak and vulnerable to these emotional states. And who can blame her? They're reminders and echoes of a time that have been tremendously difficult in her world. And we're so grateful that that time is past, but certainly those trauma responses that she's experienced are not past. And so here she is today dealing with these post-trauma stresses and these post-trauma lapses and wanting out of those experiences. So we've been working quite a bit together, and she's made tremendous progress. She's having more days that are going well for her. She's having more days that she doesn't feel such significant responses, but still experiencing these lapses. And we've kind of arrived at a place in her treatment where the next step really isn't about healing anymore. There isn't as much of the past for her to work through and recover from. The step that she's in now is accustoming herself, getting used to the idea that she no longer needs the trauma responses, right? So working into a state that she teaches her mind and her emotions and her behaviors that the trauma reaction is no longer needed, right? She's been programmed over the years because of legitimate trauma experiences. She's been programmed to see herself in vulnerable ways, to see life in fearful ways, to feel in high stress, high anxiety states. And because of this programming, it's the most comfortable place for her mind, her emotions, and her behaviors to go into these really triggered, anxious, suspicious, careful and calculated, protective places. And we don't blame her mind and her emotions, her body, for those responses. They are what helped her survive. They're how she's gotten to where she is today. But unfortunately, they continue to haunt her present, right? In the moment of her life today, they continue to be there to remind her of the past. And she's much stronger than she's ever been, right? She no longer needs these types of responses, not only because the trauma experiences themselves are no longer present, but also because she's in a stronger state than she's ever been before. So it's really about teaching her mind, her emotions, and her behaviors to know how to be the strength that she currently possesses, to know how to manifest it in her life, because the old programming continues to kick in. So it's new ways of thinking, right? It's new ways of grabbing onto truth, anchoring into truth. I know that I have value. I know that I have worth. I know I bring goodness into the world. I know I'm not a sum total of the experiences that I've been through, and I certainly know I'm more than what my ex taught me about myself. These type of mantras, training the mind to grab onto and practice those types of thoughts. Training the emotions to gravitate towards strength, resilience, confidence, right? Feeling whole and present, reminding herself in her mind and her emotions that she is whole and well and strong, that she's more than the trauma that she's been through. And certainly teaching herself how to act according to the strength that she has, investing in herself, investing in her life, investing in new relationships, investing in trust, investing in vulnerability, right? Learning how to do these things that she has power to do and things that her environment and her current status allow her to do, but just things that she hasn't practiced for many, many years, right? Learning to do these non-trauma living experiences again, mind, body, and soul, right? And so we've been working a lot on that. It's a reason that it was on my mind this morning. As I was investing in my own health and wellness, it reminded me of her and the investments that she's making in her strength today. So if you found yourself in traumatic situations in the past, and you've come a long way in your trauma work, right? You've invested in mental and emotional wellness. You've invested in physical wellness. You've invested in medication support if needed, working with a primary care physician, coaches, therapists, whatever else you may have invested in. And you're finding yourself still lapsing in to some of these trauma responses. Ask yourself the question, right? Do I just need to learn to reprogram into the health and wellness, the security and the strength that is my world and my reality today, right? Do I need to practice being strong, practice being whole? Then maybe I've done the hard work, and now it's about allowing myself to embrace a new way of thought, a new way of feeling, and a new way of behaviors. I'm in your corner, and I've got your back, and I'm rooting for you. I hope that you can find that escape from the trauma, and if you ever need help, you definitely know where to find us. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday, and we look forward to talking with you again soon. Take care.